Prince Harry finished his book called Spare. He knew what he wanted to say to his family. Many people think he betrayed them. This is like what Meghan Markle did. Meghan told her friends and the people who work for her to stay quiet. She did not want them to talk to a writer named Tom Bower. It was very hard for him to find out the truth. He had to work hard to see how they try to stay famous. That is what makes Meghan different from others who write about the royal family. A man named Tom Bower writes about the royal family. He just said something about Meghan Markle that made everyone on the internet go crazy. Here's the really strange part. While everyone was looking at the drama, Netflix secretly stopped her cooking show. It was not just because of bad ratings. Tom Bower told everyone the real reason it failed. This is a story that no one else is talking about. By the end of this, you will see why Meghan's big dream of being a Hollywood star is over. If you want to see what happens next, please like this video and subscribe. You really do not want to miss any of this. Tom Bower was very honest. He told people that Meghan Markle does not have any real talent. He did not try to be nice about it. He just said she does not have what it takes to be a star. Before you think he is just a mean guy, let me tell you who he is. He is not just a random person on the internet. He is a professional writer who does a lot of work to find the truth. This man spent a long time learning about Meghan's life. He talked to more than 80 people. Some of these people worked for her and some knew her as a friend. He wrote a book about the big fight between Meghan, Harry, and the royal family. He is not just guessing things, he has real proof from people who were there. The people who make books were a little bit scared of what he might find. They were worried Meghan would say the book was mean because of her race, but he did not stop. He found things that even surprised the book experts. The things he found were about who she really is when cameras are off. Some people say Meghan is the one with big feelings, but it seems like Harry is the one who is really angry. The bosses at Netflix realized they made a big mistake only 6 months after they started. 6 months, they paid $100 million because they thought they were getting something amazing. But in just half a year, they knew they had messed up. Netflix usually knows what they are doing. But with Meghan, they saw the truth very quickly. They found out that Meghan could not make shows that people actually wanted to watch. It is easy to get a deal because you have a famous name, but it is hard to keep that deal if you cannot make something interesting. Tom Bower is a serious writer. When he talks, people listen because his words can be dangerous to famous people. The big bosses at Netflix thought they were hiring someone with star power. They thought she had a lot of talent, but all they got was a lady with a famous name and nothing else. The big plan was to make Meghan like Martha Stewart. They wanted her to be a teacher who shows people how to live a fancy life. That was the big dream. It was supposed to be her way of being famous again. Instead, it was an embarrassing failure. The show that was supposed to make her the queen of lifestyle just crashed. Tom Bower knew this would happen. Tom Bower said Meghan is never being her real self. He says she is always acting like a character in a movie. She is always putting on a fake show. Today, people can tell when someone is being fake. They know when someone is being real and when someone is just acting. He also said she has nothing important to say. There is no originality. It is all just a pretty picture on the outside with nothing on the inside. That is why her show failed so fast. It was not built on anything real. It was just an idea of who Meghan wanted people to think she was. You cannot fake your way through life forever, even if Netflix gives you a lot of money. Let's talk about the numbers because they show the truth. Meghan's show was ranked number 1,217 on Netflix. Out of all the shows on Netflix, her show was way down at the bottom. This is a total disaster for someone who is supposed to be a star. Her show only got 2 million views in 4 months. There are kids making videos on YouTube who get more views than that in 1 month. It is crazy that a person who married a prince is doing worse than a random person on the internet. Her holiday special did a little bit better, but it still was not in the top 1,000 shows. Not even close. For a person who had the whole world watching her wedding, these numbers are very sad. She used to be on every magazine and news channel. This is more than just a bad show, it is a giant failure. When Meghan married into the royal family, billions of people watched. Everyone knew her name. This is the kind of fame most people would love to have. But even with all that fame, she could not get people to watch her cook. This shows that being famous is not enough. You have to be interesting too. If a show is boring and fake, people will not watch it. Meghan said being a Girl Scout taught her good values, but Netflix was just hoping for a big payout. They wanted a documentary about Princess Diana or a show where she told royal secrets. Instead, they got a show about her putting pretzels in bags and moving flowers. That is not exciting TV. The bosses were shocked at how boring the final show was. They gave her the best workers and a huge pile of money. She still could not make a good show. This is not a problem with the cameras. It is a problem with her talent. When you have every advantage and you still fail, you just are not good at it. The worst part is that she had no idea the show was doing so poorly. She thought she was going to win big awards. She could not see that her show was hard to watch. She is very disconnected from reality. Why did it go so wrong? The writer found the real problem. She is acting. Everything she does is planned and practiced. Modern audiences want real people. People who worked on the show said she would film the same thing over and over. She wanted her hair to be perfect. She was obsessed with how she looked. Real cooks do not care about looking like a model. They care about the food. Meghan liked to talk about being fancy and having custom boxes. But while she was doing that, her own father had to have his leg removed. Her dad was very sick and lost his leg, and she did not even visit him. She makes a show about family values, but she does not even check on her own dad. How can she say she cares about family when she ignores her own? How can she talk about love when she leaves her dad alone during a scary medical time? It is very hypocritical. People can see right through it. They know she is just acting. Everything about the show was fake. The big house she was in was just a rental. Even the bees in the background were rented. Her father sent a message saying he did not want to die without seeing her, but she ignored him. Even her famous friends who came on the show looked like they did not want to be there. One person said watching Meghan felt like watching a person act like they are nice instead of just being nice. There was no real joy, it was all just for show. In 2026, people can tell when something is fake right away. We know what a real friend looks like, and this was not it. The writer found that the story we were told about Meghan was not the same as the real records. Everything in her show was planned out. From the house to her hair, nothing was real. That is why no one wanted to watch. You cannot build a good show on lies. Now let's look at what the public thinks. The comments on the internet tell the whole story. People are not even mad anymore. They are just tired of her. That is even worse than being hated. One comment said she makes everyone miserable. Over 1,000 people liked that. People were actually happy when the show was canceled. Tom Bauer said this would happen. He knew people would get tired of her always acting like a victim. He said Americans would stop liking them once they saw they had nothing to offer but complaints. He was right, people used to feel sorry for them during the Oprah interview. But as time went on and they just kept complaining, people started to doubt them. The writer said that the opposite of love is not hate, it is just not caring. We are at that point now. People just do not care about Meghan and Harry anymore. They are just not interested. This is very bad for a brand that needs people to pay attention. The comments are full of people pointing out how she says one thing but does another. One person wrote that they are hungry for fame, but then they get mad when people write about them. Everyone sees the game they're playing. They want attention, but then they cry about it. Another person wrote that they usually like to feel bad for victims, but they have had too much of these too. This is how many people feel now. Americans do care about people who have it hard, but there is a limit. They moved to California thinking it would save them. They thought everyone would love them for escaping the royal family. For a little while, some people did, but it did not last. They sent so many emails to their friends, and most people did not even write back. They totally misunderstood the situation. People like a good story about an underdog, but they do not like people who never stop complaining. There is a big difference. Audiences figured out very fast that Meghan and Harry just wanted to complain about their lives. People reached a point where they had heard enough. They used to have support, but they used it all up. They kept doing interviews about how hard their lives were. Eventually, everyone got bored. In America, we love a story about someone who fails and then works hard to succeed. But you have to actually do the work. Meghan and Harry just made failed shows and podcasts that no one liked. They wasted every big chance they were given. They could have done something good with their freedom, but they used it to be louder about their problems. People saw through the act. You cannot want to be in the news all the time and then get mad when the news talks about you. You cannot sell your story for money and then act surprised when people want to know more. Their dream died because they pushed too hard. They asked for too much and gave too little. They did not show that they were humble. They just acted like they were better than everyone else while saying they were victims. People were done with it. Now they are in panic mode. You can see it happening right now. Meghan is trying everything to stay famous, but nothing is working. She even went back to her old PR team. That is like going back to an ex because you have no other choices. She is selling weird things like bookmarks. Who wants to buy that? It looks like she is just trying anything to make money. It is not a good business plan, it is just a sign that she is desperate. The writer noticed that famous people have stopped inviting them to parties. The doors are closed. This is terrible for someone who needs to be a celebrity to make money. She is even trying to be friends with Jennifer Aniston by talking to her boyfriend. That is not how you make real friends. It looks like she is just trying to climb the social ladder and everyone can see it. She keeps trying to get into groups where she is not wanted. It is very sad. Their money is running out. They have spent $38 million on projects that failed. That is a huge amount of money to waste. Now they have to pay for a very expensive house and lots of bodyguards, but the money is not coming in anymore. Netflix is ghosting them, which means they are just slowly stopping the work without saying anything big. They are not giving them any more money or new shows. This is a disaster for their future. They cannot move to a smaller house because that would make them look like losers. Their whole brand is about being rich. Tom Bower said this would happen. He knew they didn't realize how much the royal family was protecting them. Now they are alone and the money is disappearing. Every time they fail, it gets harder to find someone else to pay them. It is a big downward slide that is hard to stop. While Meghan was busy acting like she was a perfect cook in a rented house, her big plan fell apart. Her show was one of the least watched on Netflix. Her big deals are going away. People do not care about them anymore. They thought they would be more successful on their own, but they were wrong. Tom Bower knew this from the start. He knew they wanted the fame without doing the actual work. Every warning he gave came true. It is very sad because they could have made it work if they were real. If they had actually done something good for others, people might still like them, but they just kept acting fake. They did not realize that the royal family was what made them interesting. Without that, they are just two people who do not have much to offer. They had the whole world watching and they lost it all. Now the money is gone and the fans are gone too. Is this the end of their Hollywood dream? It looks like it. They had every advantage in the world and they still failed. People are just moving on to the next thing. Thanks for watching. If you want more stories like this, please subscribe.